Time to demonstrate. Russia Logan, the etiquette queen, teaching us all how to thrive in the scene. Etiquette queen, she's on the scene. Professional development, living the dream. Public speaking, bridging the gap. Success is a journey, ain't no looking back. Knowledge is power, that's the truth. Learning from the best.
Greetings. This is Lady Rochelle of the Are You Ready show. Welcome back to my station. I have a guest today that I am so excited about. His name is Anthony Edgehill, even though we call him Tony. I've known Tony for many, many years through being my daughter's basketball coach. Now, Tony is the owner and lead instructor of Salsa Prince Fitness LLC. Also, Tony is my daughter's former basketball coach when she played AAU. Actually, he was my daughter's first AAU coach. So, welcome, Tony.
Hi, Michelle. I'm glad to be here.
Well,
How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm so glad to talk to you again. It's been a while since we've talked, but we do follow each other on Facebook, so I know that you're doing amazing things. So, welcome to my show.
Thank you.
Can you tell my audience a little bit about what you're doing now?
Sure. I started Salsa Prince Fitness LLC in 2022, June 25th to be exact, 2022. It encompasses many different things, and my goal is with fitness is to explain to people and to show people through not only nutrition, which I'm on a plant-based diet, but also I try to explain them through exercise with fitness, whether it's aqua classes, aerobic classes, dance fitness classes, or even weight training, that you can give yourself a better body and better nutrition for better health throughout your life. And also, hopefully, for especially people who are considered seniors.
Right. Like me.
Like me. And that we can age in place gracefully, and we can always continue to keep our strength, our balance, and our well-being for doing exercise.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. And I thought I heard you talk about diet. What types of foods and what kind of diet do you think is best for our bodies, especially those of us that are, in that upper category?
My always suggestion, and I became plant-based about 3.5 years ago.
Okay.
And plant-based is basically vegan. I am a vegan, an avid vegan. For those who don't know what vegan is, that means that I don't eat any animals and I don't eat any dairy or cheese products.
Wow.
But there have other substitutes that you can have and use for that. For example, people say, well, as a vegan, do you eat any protein? Yes, we do. Everything that we have in plant has protein. However, what we need to supplement that with is fiber, because we don't get a lot of fiber. You can get that from fruit. You can get it from bread. So we do that. For milk or things that I don't have with animals, we have almond milk, we have coconut milk. And for cheese, there's called plant-based cheeses that you can have that taste like cheese. And then, of course, there's a lot of vegans, we eat tofu and stuff like that. But plant-based means we do not eat any animals. And it's actually better for your health that you shouldn't, or I shouldn't say shouldn't, sorry, but I don't like to use that word. That it's better than eating animals.
Okay.
Let's use that word.
Okay. And when I met you, you were pretty fit because you were a basketball coach for my daughter's AAU team. And we have some stories that I think we can do an entire show on with just your coaching style. And as a parent, I remember being kicked out of the gym on many, many occasions. It wasn't me, but we know who those parents were that got us kicked out of the gym. And you had the discipline of a drill sergeant when it came to teaching. And we chatted before the show about my 3 principles of discipline, respect, and self-confidence. you were Mr. Discipline because you did not tolerate any foolishness on the court, off the court, students how they were behaving in school. You were on top of these 13-year-old young ladies, and I know they will never ever forget the the discipline that you instilled in them. Us parents, we were trying to sneak cookies into them. We were trying to do everything because we felt so bad about the fact that they were in boot camp the entire season. You had no issues with those young ladies because they knew if they stepped out of bounds or stepped, out of line, that it was going to cost the whole team. And we had parents that we found a little crack in a window that we were trying to see what was going on because we knew that you were no one to fool around with. You took this very seriously, and it actually started the whole sports discipline with my daughter. And to this day, we talk about it and we laugh about it because that was her. I mean, even though she was raised by a military mother, outside of that, she continued learning discipline through you. And those young ladies, we had some superstars at 13 years old.
Yes, we did.
And you brought out their very best because you instilled in them, like I said, my principles of self-confidence. You had some that were shy. You had some that wouldn't give 100% because they were too embarrassed. You pulled everything they had in order for them to put it on the court. And each one of those young ladies learned so much that I know today they are all just being amazing adults now. So as an AAU coach of 13-year-old girls, what drove you to do that in the first place?
Well, it started actually quickly in college. I was actually a good buddy of mine named Richard Talafero, who used to coach at Norfolk State with a guy named Coach James Sweat. He won a national championship there. He couldn't coach these young women in college and the intramural team, and he asked me to coach them. I had never coached girls before at that point, and I started coaching them. So I said, you know what? I'm a little bit older than these young ladies because I was also in the military. I was in the Navy.
Right.
So I said, you know what? I'm going to coach them the way I would feel that young women, I treat them as young women, but I was disciplined with them too. We won a championship. We won again the next year. Then I started coaching in college at my alma mater, Slippery Rock University, and I did that for 2 years, and then I wound up going to CW Post in Long Island, coaching women's basketball for a year there. Then I got into the AAU circuit in New York. I went back to New York, back home, and that's for those who don't know, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York.
We couldn't tell by the accent, so no problem. It's okay.
Originally from Brooklyn, New York,
right.
and to son and parents. My parents were Panamanian immigrants, so we were working. My mom and my dad were very disciplinary with me and my sister, and they taught us right and wrong. They taught us the discipline, and they taught us respect, and they taught us those values that you speak of. So I did that with the girls when I was coaching them. But the difference was I allowed them to play basketball. When I was playing in college and when I played in high school, which I didn't get that much playing time in high school, hardly ever any, but I played a lot in college, I felt my coaches, except for my first-year coach, allowed me to play the game the way I saw it. And I always wanted to give the girls the opportunity. And I said that if I ever coach girls or coach players, I'm going to allow them to not only have the structure of what they need to do, but allow them to play basketball within that structure. So if you see something that's there, as long as it's within the structure, go do it. And I think that kids are smart enough to know, okay, this man has my best interest at heart. He wants us to be great. So he's going to allow us to play. Now, practices, I didn't teach them like they're preparing them for playing high school. I was preparing them to play college, even at 13, because I saw the greatness in some of the players. And I said, you know what? I want these young ladies to have every single opportunity to be able to succeed and be prepared. I never want a kid to come back to me when they're 18 and say, you could have prepared me better for college.
Right.
You could have prepared me better to play. You could have prepared me better So I taught them everything I learned when I was playing, how to play defense, how to run an offense, how to play offense, what angles to take, especially defense. And the defense was almost drill like, if you remember me doing,
Yes.
strategically working them footwork. And
Right.
footwork was the most important thing to me. Getting the guards and posts when we did guard and post work, and I worked with the guards, and I'm pushing them through different drills, and I'm making sure they understood what they needed to do and why. But here's the biggest point: not only what you're doing, but why you are doing it.
Exactly.
And that was my most important thing. Can I share a quick story
Sure.
about your daughter?
Yeah.
Because I love this one. So I met you at Fairfax Stars when you came to not the trial, but the open gym.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
So you came in there and you're working, and I saw Diana, and I immediately said, wow, she reminds me of Monique Curry, because I coached Monique Curry. Most
Yes.
people.
WNBA. Yes. Yes.
WNBA, and I coached Monique, and I coached her at Bullis School when I was in high school. Shout out to Wayne Farrell, who gave me the first opportunity to work and to coach there, and also shout out to Kira Orr,
Mhm.
who brought me back to finish up my career there. And I love both of those people, great people. Kira's a Bullis alum. Wayne worked at Bullis for years. Great guy. I actually talked to him a few months ago. Anyway, long story short, and coaching them, and I wanted the girls to be able to play. So when we were at the open gym and I saw Diana, I said, wow. So when you finally brought her into the fold, I never forget you telling me something. You said, well, she was playing out there in Charles County, but her coach said that I've taught you everything you needed to know,
Yes.
but I want you to go learn from somebody else who can give you more.
Yes. Coach.
And I said
Coach
to
Jones.
you,
Yes. Coach Jones. Yep.
Yep. And I remember saying to you, I need to meet the man,
Man
who gave away a great player.
Yep.
Because most guys in this business, that's somebody who cared
Yep.
about your daughter first. He said, I want your daughter to learn from somebody better than me. And that tells me all I needed to know about him. And I met him because you introduced me. Made it a point to make sure I introduced him to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I shook his hand and I said, man, I just wanted to meet the guy who did that, because that is the most humble thing that you could ever do.
Yes.
Because I respect the heck out of Coach Jones to this day for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people wouldn't do that.
Yep.
There's a lot of people who's like, this is my kid, I'm not going to give her up. And it's something I can honestly say I would do.
Yeah.
Because it's something that, hey, you know what? That person's better than me in coaching this, and you need to learn from them. Because that's going to help you take you to the next level of where it is. And I think and I say this, coaching is an egocentric business at points. But if you take yourself out of it and you say, wait a minute, what's best for the kid? And I think that group, my job was to prepare them for Aggie when she was going to, for the Fairfax Stars, when they were going to play in the Nike circuit.
Yep.
Because that was my job to prepare them. So we will follow, it was funny, we followed them like, I call themselves the little junior Nike circuit, because we followed them the 13-year-old circuit. Yeah. So we played the DFWs, and we played the Philadelphia Bells, and we played the Georgia Sixers, and we played all these top travel teams across the country. And it's like playing mini college basketball. So my job is not to prepare you to go to high school. My job was to prepare you to go to the next level, which was college.
Which you did. Which you really, really did, because I think every single one of those young ladies, that was some of their first AAU team. Some had been playing prior, but that was, I know for my daughter, that was her first AAU team. And she came in there like, Mom, I don't know if I can handle this. But Coach Jones had prepared her. He had been working with her for years. And he said, Diana, it's time for you to move up. And we were like, what does that mean? I didn't know what an AAU team was, never heard of it. And he said, and I need you to go to Fairfax Stars. And we're like, what the heck is that? And so, but yeah, we sort of came in like looking around like Alice in Wonderland. And you were one of the first people that we met when I got there. And
remember how hard the practices were for her?
Yes,
and
Lord.
Remember that she wanted to quit?
Yep.
And I told you, and I said to you, I said, bring it to practice. Let me speak to her.
Yep, and you did, and the rest is history. But Tony, I got to take a break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we'll talk about your new adventure because you seem to be, going from one thing and then things getting better and better for you. So we will be right back. This is Lady Rochelle of the Are You Ready show. And please remember to go to my website, RochelleLoganMedia.com, where you will find my book, Mannerisms, Manners for Today's Changing World, and also some online classes that will help you become the best version of yourself. This is Lady Rochelle, the voice of the community.
Is your child ready to learn the art of good table manners? Introducing the Are You Ready Table Manners Coloring and Activity Book by Rochelle Logan. This book is a fun way to teach kids the important skills for dining with grace and respect. From family dinners at home to dining out in public, this book is packed with exciting activities to help children ages 3 to middle school master the basics of good table manners. Perfect for Christmas or birthday gifts, Are You Ready makes learning table manners both enjoyable and memorable. Give the gift of good table manners today. Get your copy today. Visit RochelleLoganMedia.com.
For many of our veterans in North Carolina, the battle doesn't end when they return home. PTSD and traumatic brain injuries can make every day a challenge. But there's hope, and it comes on 4 paws. Service dogs provide more than championship. They bring life-changing support, peace, and independence to those who've sacrificed so much for our freedom. If you know a veteran in need, please reach out to Jerry Gunny Birchfield at area code 336-870-5096. Together, we can help our heroes heal. Thank you for standing by those who stood for us.
Welcome back to the Are You Ready show. Today I'm talking to my good friend Tony. And Tony is here. He's talked about being a basketball coach and how he helped to shape and help develop young ladies. And some of them, like I said, are doing amazing things today. Tony has 2 sides. Tony is also a fitness instructor. And let me tell you, I used to watch his videos. I was exhausted. I would sit in my living room and I would put I was literally tired because salsa dancing has a lot of leg work. And I would be sitting there pretty soon just clapping with him because I was too tired to finish. But now Tony is the owner and creator of the Salsa Prince Fitness business. He is still very active. He is still working with people. He is still instilling discipline, self-confidence, and every kind of characteristic that you need to be a better person. And Tony, why don't you tell us how you got from coaching to being a salsa prince?
Okay. How did it happen? Well, in 2012, I retired from basketball permanently. I decided I had enough. The landscape had changed a little bit. There's a lot of craziness going on. I said, you know what? Time for me. I don't have any skin in the game anymore. I think it's time for the younger generation to move, so I moved past it. I was just saying, I was overweight at that point. Now I finally gained some weight. I was about 249 and a half pounds, and I wanted to lose weight, so I took a Zumba class. And because I've always liked dancing, my father taught me how to dance. So I was like, okay, I'll just go to Zumba class. So they had the merengue, they had salsa, they had bachata, they had reggaeton, they had all these rhythms that I grew up listening to because in the household with my mom and my dad, we played a lot of Caribbean music, we played a lot of Spanish music, especially my dad. So long story short, I'm doing a Zumba class, and the lady, her name is Tina. Her name is really Christina. She's on my Facebook page, really still good friends with her. She said, hey, why don't you come up front? So I came up front, I was dancing. She says, why don't you lead this song? Now, I didn't choreograph the song. I just kept hearing it in the class. Show how you felt. So I danced off the rhythm of what the song was. And people in the class were shocked that I could do that. Anyway, a lady named Angie at Fitness for You in Damascus said to me, and the place is closed out of business for now, but she said to me, if you get your license, I will hire you. And that's how it started in 2013. My Zumba mama, we call her Zumba mama, was Maria Browning. She's actually going to be in Maryland this Saturday doing a master class with a guy named Socrates Fuego. Anyway, she helped me get my license. It was an 8-hour training. I wound up going and get my personal training license and all the other stuff, but I started teaching classes. And Salsa Prince, the name Salsa Prince, my dad was the king. He was the king of salsa. My dad could dance his butt off. And he taught me all the rhythms. So, and I always tell the story, when I was 16 years old, I wound up going to a club in New York called Roseland, and they had Latin night. So I never had danced with a young girl, a young woman at that time. And I met a Boricua, which we call Puerto Ricans.
Mm-hmm.
I met her at the club, and she taught me how to dance with a woman. Then I led her the rest of the night, and the rest was history. So as I started building this Salsa Prince moniker, I always had it, used to call it Zumba Salsa Prince. And shout out to Beto Perez, who's originally from Colombia, Cali, Colombia, and he created Zumba. And I just decided I wanted to do this. And I kept building on it. And all of a sudden, another big break came in Zumba for me was Zumba in the Park, which I teach not now, but during the summertime, every Friday from May till beginning of September, every Friday night. And was free to the public out in the park. And I taught that class, and I did that for now 9 years.
Wow.
out of 11 years that I've been teaching. And loved the class, loved doing it. And then I got a job at the YMCA, my first real Zumba job in a club. And I'm still with the Y. I now teach at Frederick, or what they call Urbana, at the Natelli Center.
And this is all in Maryland.
And this is all in Maryland.
Okay.
That's in Frederick. So I started doing that. I started doing some Zumba Gold. I started teaching a little bit at Leisure World, which I actually do that. That's in Silver Spring, Maryland. And I teach there. So long story short, the whole thing was I just loved the rhythms. And I grew up listening to this stuff. And I grew up, Spanish being spoken in my house. And I grew up with knowing the music. Now, the crazy part was when we were growing up, my mom and my dad didn't want us to learn or speak Spanish because they wanted us to perfect English so we could have an advantage in as far as being able to communicate correctly and properly without an accent, because they spoke with Caribbean accents.
Right.
So they wanted to be able to do that. And my mom, I call her Trailblazer. She was the first Black Caribbean Latino woman to ever do the things she was doing on Wall Street. I had they were my inspiration behind Salsa Prince Fitness too, both of them. As far as business-wise, getting that from my mom, as far as the dancing, getting it from my father. And both my parents are deceased. My mom died last year. My dad died in 2006. And my Salsa Prince page is dedicated to them.
Wow.
Because of the things that they instilled in me and taught me as a person and the values they gave me. And that's why I do what I do. And then salsa music, for me, since my dad was the king, I was the prince.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Now, Tony, how if let's say, because this show is nationally syndicated, if someone is coming to Maryland and they're like, hey, I want to do something other than sightseeing, I would love to take one of Tony's classes, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, they can go on my website, and they can go, it's called www.salsaprincefitness.com. They can go onto that website. My website is translated in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. And the reason it's translated in those three languages, my dad spoke all three languages. Spanish was his first language. English was his second language. And Portuguese and Italian was his third and fourth.
Wow.
But I only chose three languages. So it's on there. My information is on there as far as if you want to email me, which is Tony@salsaprincefitness.com. And then my phone number is also on the website if people want to go there and then they say, hey, I like to come to your class. I can get them a guest pass to whatever club or whatever venue I'm at that they can come and they can join me for free, or for a small marginal fee for that class if it's a guest as far as at a club is concerned.
Wow. Well, I am so proud of you. And like I said, I follow you, and I used to, be right there dancing with you as long as I could stand it. So, and it takes me back to when I first met you. I mean, you are probably one of the most dedicated people. Whatever it is that you're doing, you give 100%, no matter what it is. I saw you with a knee brace on. You were still out there, up on that stage, dancing because you had people there. Your commitment is unwavering. I mean, my daughter and I always talk about, and we laugh because we would always say, every time we get tired now and bend over, we say, "There's no air down there. Sit up." And then, you know what we yell all the time? That's too easy. Too easy. Because if you saw one of them miss a layup or somebody got something, you go, "That's too easy," because you're disciplined. You had the most discipline, like I said, of a drill sergeant. And we align in those areas, the discipline, respect, and self-confidence. Those young ladies, we've seen them grow up. They're in the WNBA now. You started out with them. I ended up media training a lot of them when they got to like their senior year and, just before they went to college. You started the journey for them so that they ended up where they are. Because I know they never forgot your coaching. Us mothers never forgot your coaching because you made some of them learn discipline too. And I really want to thank you for being here. I wish we had more time, and I know you're going to be on my podcast. So, Tony, thank you so much, and continue doing what you're doing by uplifting and encouraging people to eat healthy and also to live healthy.
Absolutely.
You got any parting words for me?
I just got one thing. It was an honor and a privilege to coach your kid and all the other kids that I coached. We got ourselves an opportunity to give kids, 80 different kids got scholarships to universities and got their school paid for.
Yes.
And I got to give a shout out to Aggie McCormick.
Yes.
Because I have to say that she has done so much, and her and her husband, Bob Dix, has done so much for women's basketball in the DMV area. And I'm just appreciative of all the people who came into my life and helped me. I also got to give out one shout out to a guy named Don Porter.
Okay.
Don Porter was one of those people who was inspirational in my life. He's a former football player, and I taught him basketball. He taught me football.
Wow.
He played in the NFL, and he's a great guy.
Wow.
And he was just somebody who taught me business, and he's the one that helped me start the company. I got to give shout out to my cousin Crystal Lloyd for creating my website and understanding the vision. She understood the vision of what I wanted for the website, and I appreciate all the great people in my life. And last but not least, got to give a shout out to my sister, Ursula Edgehill.
Oh, good.
Who is my best friend.
Aww.
She's my best friend. And
well, shout out to you, Angela. Good for you. Hello. And Tony, like I said, you're gonna come back, no question, because 30 minutes was just not enough time for us. I think we talked 30 minutes before we even started the recording. So, but thank you so much for being here. I'm going to have to end the show right now, but please tune in next week for another wonderful show. This is Lady Rochelle of the Are You Ready Show, the voice of the community. Thank you for watching my channel. Be sure to check out my website, RochelleLoganMedia.com. You can find the link in the description. I also have an online school teaching public speaking, etiquette, and much more. I also wrote multiple books for adults and children that will teach you to become the best version of yourself. Thank you, and see you next time.